KUT Media.
And all day we've been centered around transforming the game, the Clyde Best story, and no better than to talk to the narrator of the film. We have Mr. Tony D. Head with us today. How you doing, Mr. Tony?
Hey, I'm doing well. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I did a little research on you. You're award-winning actor. Let the people know a little bit about your background.
I've been in the acting game for a while. I was on a popular show. Many of you might have remembered The Wire on HBO, and
Of course, we remember The Wire.
on and off. I've been in and out of the business. I had a daughter who I had to take care of for a long time, and I was out of the business for over 20 years. I came back here in 2014 to New York City, and I've been scuffling around here ever since then for the last 12 years. So, yeah, done film, TV, stage, a lot of different things. But this film has been a remarkable experience. It's a wonderful, wonderful story.
Okay, nice. So let's talk about that a little bit. How did you even get, in contact with the people that work on this film?
Yeah, it's a great question. My buddy, who I've known for quite a while, is Bermudian. And he told me about a film that was going to shoot in Bermuda about a famous football player. And I said, well, who is it? Because I consider myself a pretty avid sports fan.
Right.
And he said, Clyde Best. And I said, Clyde Best? I don't really know Clyde Best. And he said, well, go look him up. Go look at his story. And I did. And after about 15, 20 minutes looking at his story, I was blown away. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And then the next question I asked myself, why hasn't his story been told? Because I would challenge anyone to tell me a story about a 17-year-old who traveled 5,500 miles by himself to another country, broke into the Premier League of football, and went on to become a star. And when I just found out about all this, I told him, you got to get me in touch with the producer so I can talk to him, because I want to be a part of this project, and it worked out.
Right. And I was overhearing one of your previous conversations earlier. You were saying like you could relate to the film a bit because being a black man in America, growing up in the time period you grew up in, you had to deal with some of the racism as well. So how was it seeing that in the film?
That was a direct connection to my experience, because I grew up in Boston, in Roxbury, and at that time it was a little before busing, but the racial strife was at a fever pitch, just like it was in London when Clyde went in the '60s, and I knew exactly what he was facing. And to think a 17-year-old could handle that kind of pressure, and in addition excel at the extreme top level of football, is an amazing story. And I tell everybody, tell me another story like this. I don't think there is one.
Right. Okay, and then as the narrator of the film, you obviously had to build a relationship with Clyde. Was there anything you learned about him? Well, obviously you didn't know about him before the film, but was there anything special you learned about him while narrating?
I've never met a more humble person. I consider myself in the film kind of like an advocate for him, because he really won't speak. He won't speak about his accomplishments that much. He just lives his life the way he wants to live it, in a very straightforward and honest way. But I feel like I'm an advocate to tell his story, because his story needs to be told. A good analogy is Jackie Robinson and Clyde Best. But Jackie was 28 years old when he got into Major League Baseball, and he had the support of Branch Rickey, who was the president of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Clyde didn't have any of that. He got to London. Nobody met him at the airport. He wandered around the airport, ended up in West Ham. Then a stranger took him to another person's house, where he ended up living for the next 6 years. I mean, his story is so unbelievable. It's almost like a Hollywood writer wrote it, but it's actually true. And I've never heard a story like this before in any sport. So, that's why I wanted to be a part of it.
Right, and you got the film currently being circulated right now in the few different film festivals. So I just want to ask you, what's some other things you're working on outside of the film?
Well, I'm on. Those of you who know Tyler Perry, Perry. I'm on a Tyler Perry series called Zatima,
Okay.
and that's. But I've been on that for three seasons now, and I just do different things. You know, I've done a lot of major TV shows like Law and Order, FBI's Most Wanted, stuff like that. But you know, as an actor, once I do a job, afterwards I'm unemployed, and then I have to go look for another job. So it's a tough business, but you gotta be in it to win it. Like anything, you gotta play to win.
Right. And with you, last question before we get out of here. With you being on like big time shows like Law and Order, The Wire, and even working with a great director like Tyler Perry, what's your favorite moment from any one of those three sets?
Oh, that's a hard question. You know, I was in Joker.
Okay.
And Todd Phillips is a premier director of feature films, and that was a great experience only because I got to work with him one on one on my little scene, which I was a news anchor.
Okay.
But that was good. But Tyler Perry is an experience too, because nobody shoots films and TV like Tyler Perry does, and he's all about business. And it was a great experience, and I enjoyed being on his show, and I look forward to continue to work on it. But you know, in acting, anything can happen. You can end up on a show here and a show there, and an experience here and there. The important thing is to keep working and keep trying to get better. So that's kind of like what I try to do.
Okay, nice. Well, Tony, thank you for sitting down with KUT Media today. It's been a pleasure, and we can't wait to check out the documentary.
Are you going to be there Friday?